Hello Golden Chobbers! Welcome once again to my channel. This is Sir Job and welcome to Sir Job TV. So for this morning, I'll be talking about the second milk of the Understanding Culture, Society, and Politics. So our topic for this morning is all about analyze the concept, aspects, and challenges in of culture and society. This is my video number 22. According to Heraclitus, change is the only permanent in this world. Do you agree with that? I think this is actually the mouthpiece of everyone. Change is the only constant in this world. Everybody is changing, everybody is evolving in this world. That is correct, right? Okay, so in this unit, we shall discuss the concept of culture and society. Specifically, we shall expound on the significance of studying culture and society, explain the elements and aspect of culture, in the characteristics of society, trace human origins, and describe man's cultural evolution. Through this lesson, we hope that you will be able to develop a clear understanding of what culture and society are about. So let's go now with the definition of terms. Okay, so the first thing that we need to define right now is the word society. Sociologically speaking, society is a constitution of social actors in constant interaction. Again, highlight natin salita na in constant interaction. So meaning to say, there is a society because within the society, remember, merong mga community. So once there is constant interaction of people, that is simply what we call a society. Okay? So, another thing is the word culture. When we speak of culture, it is a set of practices and traditions. Okay, from that point sa definition, okay, it is a set of practices and traditions. So, meaning to say, it is your daily routine, okay, that define a specific society. Okay, the movements of people, the way how they live, as I explained sa aking previous video, yan ang pinaka-core definition of the word culture. The inclusive approach to understand the utility of culture and society as explanatory tools is hoped to provide an appreciation of their usefulness that transgresses the traditional barriers known as disciplinary boundaries. Because long ago, when we speak of culture, since because limited pa yung movements noon, going back to Philippine history, for example, okay, they don't know na meron pang other islands from different places, for example. So, naglimit lang siya. But in today's time, as how we are going to appreciate culture, it actually transgresses from different places. No, it ends up the boundaries, okay, geographically speaking, for instance, kasi nakikita na natin in social media ang different practices and different cultures from different people from around the globe. So that's basically the point of view as we are going to, as we define or as we approach the concept of culture in 21st century. Okay, it actually transcends from places to places, from culture to culture at this very moment in time. Talking about the 21st century generation. In our society today, we can see a lot of changes and developments that affect our life. Correct. Okay, we can see a lot of changes in our society today. The first thing is machines have made our work easier. Machines have made our work easier. Computers have allowed us to communicate with more people faster. In our generation today, for example, okay, there is mass production of goods and services, for instance, and with the introduction of computer, with the introduction of internet connection, okay, we could be able to transact everything, even if in different places or whatever transactions that we want to do, mas madali na lang ngayon because we have the technology na ino-offer. That is one of the changes na nangyayari ngayon in the society. Okay? Genetic engineering has helped us to produce disease-resistant plants. Changes such as this have resulted in modernization of a nation state. So basically, that's the point. Okay, so when we speak of nation state, if we're going to define the concept of nation state at this very moment, a nation state is a sovereign state whose citizens or subjects have a common culture. Okay? A sovereign state, meaning to say malayang bansa, okay, whose citizens or subjects have a common culture. Like for example, Filipinos, we are already a sovereign country and we are also adhering to the dominant culture na meron po dito sa ating bansa, just like that. They speak the same language. So our language here in the Philippines, we have the Filipino language, but we also use English as a dominant or the second language na ina-apply ng mga Filipinos or ginagamit ng mga Filipinos dito sa ating country. So we have Filipino language and we also have English language na mas naiintindihan ng ating mga kapwa Filipino. Have common descent and share common history. Having citizens with common culture, a nation-state, therefore, is a major component of personal identity. What is personal identity in the first place? So when we define personal identity, it is the concept that you develop about yourself that evolves over the course of your life. So meaning to say, from being a child hanggang sa lumaki ka, hanggang sa develop ka, okay? Kung sino ka as a person, that is actually your personal identity. Okay? Everything about you, okay? Paano ka na-develop, how you grow as a person, that is your personal identity. Okay? So, talking about personal identity, meron tayong three concepts or three elements na dapat maintindihan. Because usually, in the interaction of people, nagkaka-interchange ang mga concept na ito. But let's end that particular doubts at this very moment. So, talking about personal identity, merong attachment na morals, okay, the values, and the ethics. So, when we say morals are fundamental beliefs. Okay, highlight natin yung fundamental beliefs. Okay, highlight natin siya. Established from the value systems of how we should act in any certain condition. Okay, fundamental beliefs. Like for example, do not cheat, do not judge, have courage, and do not destroy property. Mga do's and don'ts po ito na dapat maintindihan ng tao in the interaction. Okay? Talking about the morals. Now, what is values? Values are what we learned from childhood. Okay? The behavior from their parents and environments. So basically, ito yung application ng sinasabi nating home is the first school. Dito tayo unang natututo. So very important na meron tayong training, or parents who are now watching, very important ang role ninyo in educating or instilling the values to your children. So basically, this is part. Kung sinasabi natin, when we speak of values, this is actually the behavior we learn from our parents and the environment kung saan tayo lumaki. So it matters the most. Kaya nga sinasabi na pag nasa school ka na, okay, because you were trained before sa bahay ninyo, pagdating mo sa school, of course, meron kang ini-execute inside the four corners of the classroom na different from the rest of the students. Why? Because the diversity of that certain students, nakikita natin because nakadepende sa kind of upbringing ng kanyang family in the application of values existing. So when we speak of values, these are the concept of loyalty, the concept of honesty, and the concept of determination, and many others po na makukonsider natin as part of our value system. So when we define ethics, on the other hand, are the rules Filipinos actually do and act in the aspect of complicated situation that check their moral character of right and wrong. So that's basically the ethics. Okay, highlight natin, are the rules Filipinos actually do and act. So example, these are the attitude, the cooperation, the productivity, and most importantly, the respect. Usually, ang ethics is, nakikita natin siya inside organization, for example, okay, in like for example nagtrabaho ng isang tao, now in that manner, okay, kailangan niyang mag-adhere doon sa mga ethical principles na ina-apply ng kanyang organizations or kung saan man siya nagtatrabaho, okay. So these personal experiences are created by man's interaction with his environment. Okay? The application of personal identity by virtue of the moral values and the ethics, okay? These personal experiences are created by man's interaction with his environment. Kung papaano mo dinala ang sarili mo in the interaction, or what are the values or what are the things na tinanggap mo. Because usually, everything kasi na nai-encounter natin in the interaction, nandiyan na yan. Okay? But it depends upon on you, ano yung mga bagay na gusto mong i-apply sa sarili mo or ano yung mga bagay na gusto mong maging part doon sa system mo. It differs it matters kung ano yung gusto mong tanggapin. So nagva-vary siya sa isang person. Okay? Kung ano yung gusto mong i-apply within yourself. According to David Bohm, each individual already contains the whole information field of society. Okay? It is the whole information field, but each individual contains that information field in his own way. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin, we are aware. We know what is the movement of the society. Alam natin kung ano yung setup ng society. We are aware what is right and wrong. We are conscious about these things. Correct? Alam natin ito. Kaya lang, according to David Bohm, yung ang tao is nag-create siya ng kanyang sariling application with that particular things. Okay? Kaya sinasabi niya dito, but each individual contains that information field in his own way. Yun ang pinaka-importanting word, in his own way. As primary actors, we create the type of society that we want to have, which also includes our customs and traditions. Highlight the line, we create the type of society. Kaya sinasabi ko na hindi fix ang society. Yung pinakaunang video kung napanoodin nyo, hindi fix ang society. Nagva-vary siya. Because accordingly, as primary actors, we create the type of society that we want to have. Pwede tayong mag-decide ng kind of society na gusto nating i-apply sa ating mga sarili. Example, people who need more will be pushed more by their inner drives to attain something. Okay, gusto ko pang yumaman. Okay. These drives consist of biological and psychological drives, such as cravings, wealth, power, greatness, successes, and etc. So, kung ikaw meron kang pangarap, you're ambitious enough na marating ito, you have a big goal, you have a big dream, so of course you have to indulge yourself with different steps para ma-achieve mo itong mga bagay nito. Kasi may mga tao din, in the observation of society, I hope that you can also connect with me in this example. May mga tao din kasi na they were contented na po sa ganitong buhay. Ito lang yung gusto ko, ito lang yung gusto kong buhay, pero may mga ibang tao din na gusto nila na ma-achieve ang ganitong level ng success, ma-achieve ang ganitong level ng buhay. So, nagva-vary po. But wala pong mali. Both are correct. Wala pong mistake sa ganong mga decisions. Nakadepende po kasi sa tao kung ano yung gusto nating i-apply sa ating mga sarili. As I said before, it depends upon you. The most important thing is wala kang naapakang tao in the manner. Okay? So, that's it. That's a decision to be respected by everybody. Likewise, variation in geographical features, climatic conditions, and historical experiences contribute to man's development as well as a reference of differentiation among people, such as race, customs, and traditions. So one of the best example that I'll be using in this portion is the concept or the theory of environmental determinism. Actually, yan ang theory na ginamit ko sa aking thesis in MSU last 2015. Because when we speak of environmental determinism, okay, people were shaped according to the geographical features, or there is a big factor of the environment in shaping one's personality. That's basically one of the factor. Example, in Southern Philippines, talking about the Muslim community, if you are going to interpret, bakit ganito ang kanilang perspective? Okay? Like for example, if there's war, okay, in the concept of jihad ng mga Muslims, they're ready to fight, they're ready to fight against the enemy, okay, for the sake of freedom, for the sake of preservation ng kanilang culture. Bakit ganito? Because long time ago, may mga series talaga ng war in Southern Philippines because especially going back to Spanish era, no, na hindi po na-subjugate ang Southern Philippines and they wanted to get talaga the people of the Muslim community, pero na failure po ang mga Spaniards to get them. Okay? But in that particular series or in that particular period, ang dami pong war na naganap in the Muslim community. So, if you have to analyze that situation, now you could be able to understand why people in Southern Philippines are reacting in this kind of way sa kanilang buhay. Okay? In that particular situation, if you could be able to imagine. As defined by Edward Bay Taylor, culture refers to that complex whole which includes knowledge, beliefs, arts, morals, laws, customs, and any other capabilities and habits acquired by man as a member of society. So basically, that's the point. May mga importanteng words or concept ang ginamit in the definition. That is why this is the universally accepted definition when we speak of culture. Okay? It is about knowledge, beliefs, arts, morals, laws, customs, and any other capabilities and habits acquired by man as a member of society. Culture serves as a foundation of man's continuing interaction with his surroundings. People develop a culture of their own out of their learning and experiences from their environmental exposure. Let's take a look on the culture of the Japanese people. They have that concept of seppuku or harakiri. You know what is seppuku or harakiri? That is the honorable dismissal of the Japanese people. Meaning to say, if they were unsuccessful, okay, living here on earth, may gusto siyang gawin, may goal siya, pero hindi siya nag-succeed doon sa goal na yon. Now, ang isang Japanese would actually commit suicide. That is the concept of their harakiri or seppuku. But if that particular concept will be applied in the Philippines, for example, now, threatening. Like for example, sa nangyayari ngayon sa ating bansa, may mga nagkukumit ng mga suicide, ng mga teenagers, we don't know the reasons behind, pero nangyayari po yan ngayon sa ating situation. So, threatening siya in the case, but in the concept of the Japanese people, as their application of their culture in the concept of harakiri or seppuku, that is actually normal to them. That if they will not succeed in their endeavor here on earth, they will actually commit suicide, and that is normal to their culture. Okay? To give virtue into the definition that says people develop culture of their own. Okay, let's proceed to society as a concept. Just like other terms in the social sciences, the word society was coined by social scientists to facilitate their exploration of social phenomena. Okay, so meaning to say, the word society was actually made or established because of they want to experiment or they want to study the movement of the people and the social phenomena. It is a tool to grasp the complexity of the phenomenon it represents and a means to explore its many other dimensions hidden by its normative use. As a concept, society represents an ideal type which more or less depicts the form, process, and dynamics of social reality it embodies. Concepts, of course, may change through their changing meanings and interpretation or disappear from non-use altogether. So, society, ginawa or dinevelop ang concept ng society because we want to study or we want to know the complexity of people, the complexity of the movement of people in a given society. Because as I said to you, in a given society, there are lots of community. So, napaka-complex po na kailangan maintindihan. As a concept, society represents an ideal type. What is an ideal type of a society? What do you think is an ideal type of society? There is cooperation, there is teamwork, okay? People are helping each other na ma-uplift yung ibang tao. That is a very ideal society that we should have to expect. Supposedly, yan ang pwedeng mangyari. Pero at some point, in any portions of the country, hindi po yan ang nangyayari. Or any portions of the world, hindi po yan ang nangyayari. But that is the ideal society that supposedly to be happen and to be experienced by anybody here on earth. Concepts, of course, may change through the changing meanings, okay, and interpretation. So when we speak of society, nagva-vary ang meaning niya, okay, nagdi-differ ang meaning niya. And of course, when we speak of society, nagkakaroon po na siya ng iba't ibang version or iba't ibang interpretation. So that is basically the point. So when we speak of society as facticity, this is actually tantamount to the concept of social fact. Society is formally defined as constituting a fairly large number of people, okay? Fairly large number of people. That means to say, merong population. There is number of population inside. So talking about my Filipinos inside the Philippines, okay? Who are living in the same territory. So may tao, okay? And then may bansa. This is Philippines, Filipinos, and Philippines. Okay, to complete the definition of society I'm talking. Okay, there are Filipinos, okay, and we have Philippines also. Are relatively independent of people outside their area. So we are a sovereign country. Na-define ang ating location, the Philippine as a country, meron tayong geographical location na well-defined territory. Okay. And participate in a common culture. So we have our practices na dito mo lang talaga matatagpuan sa Pilipinas. So that is basically the complete package of the concept of society. Again, pag sinabi natin society, merong tao, merong bansa, okay, and merong sovereignty, malaya, merong freedom from the rest of the globe. And of course, they also have their own culture to be recognized or meron silang sariling identity. In this perspective, society is seen as an outcome of multiple interactions of people upon which succeeding interactions are made meaningful and possible. So, highlight natin yung salitang multiple interactions of people. As I said to you, within the Philippine society, merong napakaraming community inside Philippine society I'm talking. Correct? So, paglabas mo sa Philippine archipelago, napaka-diverse, napaka-lawak, napaka-extensive nung coverage ng world, no? Philippines alone, kung titingnan natin, napakadami pong community inside that society. So, if you go away from that, you will also encounter different community in a given place or in a given society outside from your own society. So, ganyan po kalawak ang dapat nating maintindihan. And that's how we need to open our mind for that. Na dapat maintindihan natin. The differentiation, the uniqueness, the variation, the identity of different groups of people na present from different parts of the globe. We need to understand and we need to appreciate their existence as part of interaction. Okay. The definition simply means that society only exists if there are people interacting. Okay, claro? The definition simply means that society only exists if there are people interacting with each other. Okay? Kung walang interaction, there's no society. But because there is interaction, so there is also society. The tripartite powers of society are even more evident in its effects on our daily routine and actions and behavior. Suffice it to say that everything we do, lahat ng ginagawa natin, think, yung nasa isip natin, and are capable of doing and thinking. Okay? Kung ano yung pwede nating gawin at kaya nating gawin, all emanate from the society. Okay? Because as I said to you, you will learn something from people, you will learn something from your interaction. Very important po talaga ang interaction in the society. Kaya nga, the person who keeps on traveling from different places is a wise person. As I said, before sa aking mga vlog, sinabi ko na po yan, na yung taong traveler, yung taong mahilig pumunta sa iba't ibang places from the rest of the globe, clever, wise. Bakit? Kasi ang dami niyang natututunan from different practices, from different group of people, from different culture, from the rest of the world. So, yun po ang nagagawa ng interaction. Let's continue. Every single action of ours is controlled by society. Do you agree? Lahat ng mga ginagawa natin is actually controlled by the concept of society. What we eat, how to love, when to die, or how to die are all within the domain of the society. I think everything, it covers with the concept of society. Lahat po ng movements. Kasi yung choices mo, yung the way how you appreciate, the way how you embrace situation, that's actually part of the concept of society. If in case we decided not to follow, okay, its whims and commands, it has the capacity and legitimate authority to punish us, even take away our lives. Klaro sa statement, if in case we decided not to follow, bigay ko ng example in this pandemic para makarelate tayong lahat. Kasi in a given society, may mga rules and regulations to be followed. And in the case of the new normal, we have that health protocols na kailangan nating sundin. Like for example, if we have to go with a place na may maraming tao, we are required to wear face shield and face mask. Now, if you will not follow that particular ordinance or protocol, you really have to face a punishment. Yun ang sinasabi dito. Okay? Kailangan, you have to face that punishment. Like for example, you will pay certain amount, 1,000 for instance, or you will just have to render community service. It depends upon the place kung ano yung itinakda nila sa kanilang people na hindi sumusunod sa kanilang rules and regulations. So yan ang pwedeng magawa ng society sa iyo if you will not actually follow certain rules and conditions being agreed with the people living in that particular place. Society controls the laws made and to be made, and even the lawmakers. Okay? Because of course, people who are making laws, people who are crafting laws were actually part of the society. That is why controlled pa rin ng society ang mga bagay na yan. That's part of the coverage of the concept of society. So in general, society is present even in the most personal fibers of our individual lives. So, mula sa pinakamaliit na bagay hanggang sa pinakamalaking bagay, lahat po ng konsepto, lahat po ng mga practices, lahat po ng concept na naka-attach po sa society, and because you are part as a person, because you are part of that society, okay, you are affected. Okay, you are being controlled. Lahat ng ginagawa mo, lahat ng mga decision making mo, every choices as a person na ginagawa mo, lahat ng mga preference mo sa buhay, that is actually part of the concept of society. So that will be all for this morning. I hope you learned something from this video, and I hope that you will share this video through your friends and to anybody else na you think nangangailangan ng video na ito. And sana po patuloy niyong suportahan ang Sir Job TV, and I hope that you will continue watching all the videos that will be uploading from this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you are in a good condition right now with your family. Keep safe everyone, and keep on praying that we could be able to get through from this particular pandemic. Thank you so much for watching once again. Bye-bye!